Baker Mayfield.
And what football gives you the ability to do, it gives you the ability to leave the slums, go to one of the nicest colleges in the world, build your own name, build your own legacy, get drafted, and tell your mommy and your daddy and your sister, we leaving the hood today.
Flag taken.
Welcome to the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft brought to you by Blitzalytics.com. Here are your hosts, Jack Bourgeois and George Haraxis. The 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft is officially open and the Arizona Cardinals are now on the clock.
After months of anticipation, the wait is finally over and the second annual Blitzalytics mock draft has arrived. I'm your host, Jack Bourgeois. Here with me, as always, is the great George Haraxis.
So happy to be here, Jack. Excited as all hell. This is my favorite time of the year. I know it's your favorite time of the year, too. I have no idea who's going to go first overall, but I cannot wait until we jump into this draft, my friend.
Must be draft season. I can't wait. Is it Kyler Murray? Is it Bosa? Quinnen Williams? We have no idea. Looks like the pick is in.
And with the first pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, the Arizona Cardinals select defensive tackle Quinnen Williams from the University of Alabama. Now let's first address the elephant in the room. Why not Kyler Murray? Simply put, we felt that was a position we need to fill right now, and we thought it would be crazy to take a good player in a position we didn't need to fill, as opposed to a perennial, top of the charts athlete in a position we do need to fill. Quinnen Williams is can't miss. He has it all. He was dubbed the fastest 300-pound man on the planet, according to NFL.com. His explosiveness and versatile hold is incredible in pass rush. He also shows his strength to hold up against double coverage against SEC-level offensive linemen and hold and run block. His technique is through the roof. He uses his long arms to get his hands on his blocker first and dumps those blocks quickly. And his character is what really brings him in. He shows that he has a can't-stop motor, and every report that we have seen about him shows that he is a perfect locker room character and a team that is currently in the process of transitioning. Quinnen Williams is on top of every scout's big board, and there's a reason for that. He is can't miss, and we will not miss on him. And that's why he is our first selection in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft.
The San Francisco 49ers are now on the clock.
Cardinals take Quinnen Williams, Blitzalytics consensus #1 prospect at only 21 years of age. Williams is an offensive lineman's nightmare. 71 tackles, 19.5 tackles for a loss, 8 sacks in only 1 year as a starter at Alabama. Oh, and did I mention he ran an insane 4.8240 as a 300-pounder? Man, I cannot wait to see him play next in Arizona, put it that way. I'm so excited.
Yeah, he could turn out to be the best player in this draft, Jack, easily. Highest
Hands
ceiling.
down. Looks like the Niners pick is in.
With the second overall pick in the Blitzalytics 2019 mock draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Nick Bosa, Ohio State University. This selection sets up the 49ers for the long haul, providing them the opportunity to shift players along the defensive line. With the addition of D. Ford and now Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead can be moved to the 3 technique, where his true value can be intensified. Nick Bosa gives our front four a boost in talent and versatility that we will be sure to exploit throughout the season. The construction of our front four and front seven will be a never-ending process, but the pieces we have brought in will lead to mismatches and deliver the pressure that our organization has continuously strived towards. Bosa is a talent we could not pass up with the second overall selection. He is the most well-rounded athlete in the draft class that features top talent at edge. He can win with his athleticism, fluidity, speed, power, or flexibility. The Ohio State product has the talent to dismantle offensive tackles with highly developed hands and a plethora of pass rushing techniques that have made Bosa a high commodity draft prospect. With DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead, D. Ford, and now Nick Bosa, our defensive line and pass rush will be feared across the league. This is the first stepping stone to becoming the dominant defense and team we know we can be.
The New York Jets are now on the clock.
49ers select Nick Bosa from The Ohio State University, undeniably the most pro-ready edge rusher in this draft. The addition of Bosa to an already stout San Francisco D-line that features recently acquired D. Ford and multiple first-rounders in DeForest Buckner, Solomon Thomas, and Eric Armstead should equal one of the league's most feared pass-rushing rotations in quite some time.
I would be scared if I was an offensive lineman in the NFC West.
Quarterbacks as well. The pick is in.
Third pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, the New York Jets select from Kentucky University linebacker Josh Allen. A 2-star recruit who turned top prospect, Kentucky's Josh Allen burst onto the football scene this year with 17 tackles in 13 games, putting him behind only one other athlete. Josh landed 88 total tackles this season, 56 of which were solo. 21 and a half of those tackles pushed the ball carrier the wrong way into negative yardage, ranking Josh at number 6 overall in the NCAA. Being one of the most explosive defensive ends in college football, NFL tackles will have their hands full attempting to gain control on Josh. With his ability to play both linebacker and defensive end, Josh can line up further out on the edge, giving him the jump on the offensive line, allowing him to get into the backfield in ways most linebackers can't. When Josh goes on the outside before pushing into the quarterback or ball carrier, will be problematic for tackles lined up against him. Being 6'5", 260 pounds, his size and speed combination are unmatched by anyone else in the NFL. Utilizing his hands the entire way instead of just running past blockers, he really beats them off the line, relying more on his own skills rather than playing off of theirs, taking matters literally into his own hands. When he's not bringing quarterbacks to the turf, he's dropping back reading the offense. When he goes into coverage reading the quarterback's eyes, Josh Allen plays football in a way most of his highlights would not lead one to believe. Of course, he won't run long routes against the likes of Antonio Brown, but that's not Josh's job. He is tasked with covering short routes and slower tight ends. With his great jump on the ball, like he has on the snap, Josh Allen is explosive and has the ability to influence the momentum of any game he is in the lineup. Having spent his senior year at Montclair High School, he was just 20 minutes from our New York Jets home field. With upgrades all around the defense the Jets have made these past few seasons, a dominant defensive end is exactly what we need to bring our overall game to championship contender. New defensive coordinator Greg Williams can craft a system around Josh, giving him the best scenario to join the Jets. An excellent selection and a steal at number 3, Josh Allen will make valuable and immediate contributions in building up an elite New York Jets defense.
The Oakland Raiders are now on the clock.
This was an easy selection for the Jets to make. With Williams and Bosa both off the board, Josh Allen is the last of the consensus ultra-elite defensive linemen. Barring a trade offer, the Jets would have gladly taken any three of these prospects. New York just got an edge rusher with early Pro Bowl potential and a sky-high ceiling that is Khalil Mack-esque. Looks like the Raiders' pick is in.
With the fourth pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, the Oakland Raiders select Devin White, linebacker, LSU. At 6'2", 240 pounds, White put on a clinic while in Indianapolis for the NFL Combine this year, running a blazing 4.4240, the fastest time by any linebacker since 2006 and third fastest in positional history of the NFL Combine, proving he is one of the most athletic linebackers we have ever seen come out of college football, and I mean ever. Oakland took the BPA approach as in best player available, and Devin White certainly fits the mold. Now yes, after signing both Brandon Marshall and Vontaze Burfict, linebacker wasn't necessarily a position in need, but White's talent and versatility alone could not be passed up. He's an athletic freak, a leader amongst men, and a physical presence in the center field. He plays like a heat-seeking missile from sideline to sideline and is a nightmare against the run. He's also athletic enough to cover running backs and tight ends both in man coverage and in zone while in space. Oakland feels as if White can step in day one as a starter and leader of the defense. He has early Pro Bowl and All-Pro talent written all over him. His 123 tackles, 3 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 6 pass defenses in 2018 alone are off the charts. But the film is even more impressive than what the stat line may show. Now with the likes of Melvin Gordon, Philip Lindsay, and Travis Kelce residing in the AFC West, coverage skills for a linebacker are a must. Now both John Gruden and Mike Mayock are thrilled at the opportunity to work alongside, coach, and get their hands on such potential and talent. From everybody in Oakland and for all of the Raider Nation, I have 3 words for you. Welcome to Oakland. Oh yeah, and just win, baby.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Great pick here by the Raiders. Devin White alongside Brandon Marshall and Vontaze Burfict instantly gives Oakland one of the most dynamic linebacking groups in the league. Devin White is your new age prototypical linebacker who can cover as well as drop and stop the run.
He's a beast, man. I mean, like you just said, he looks like a heat-seeking missile in the run game. Is a hell of an athlete, good enough to play both man and zone coverage against wide receivers, tight ends, running backs coming out of the backfield. Love the pick for the Raiders.
Yeah, this definitely gives their defense an identity. The pick is in.
With the 5th pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Montez Sweat, defensive end from Mississippi State University. Sweat showed that he can fit as a 4-3 defensive end or a 3-4 outside linebacker. He's also a dangerous pass rusher who shows good instincts and natural feel as an edge rusher. He has good play recognition and uses his instincts to get into the right position to affect the quarterback or disrupt plays. For a tall defender, Sweat has a nice ability to redirect and uses that to get after the quarterback or defend the perimeter. As a pure pass rusher, Sweat is quick off the edge with the speed to turn the corner and run around offensive tackles. One of his most impressive traits is his active hands to fight off blocks while using his feet at the same time. Sweat has some functional strength that he uses to get off blocks and shows impressive hand placements to get under the pads of blockers and rip them away from him. Welcome to the Bucs, and fire the cannons.
The New York Giants are now on the clock.
I don't know about this one. Now at 6'6", 260 pounds, this freak athlete ran a 4.440 while in Indianapolis. He has unlimited potential and upside, but also comes with a limited arsenal of pass rush moves. His knee bend and speed rush are severely lacking, and he will need a ton of coaching in order to refine his skill set at the next level. I think this was a drastic reach inside the top 5.
Yeah, I don't like this type of risk in the top 5. I'm looking for blue chip prospects here with really no flag, so not really sure what the Buccaneers are doing here.
Yeah, me neither. As a Bucks fan, I do not know. It makes no sense to me. Looks like we do have a trade. The pick is in. To go get their guy. George, do you have any idea as to who you think that pick might be?
Here, maybe Ed Oliver. I know they've been looking for a D tackle for quite some time here, but honestly, who knows with the Falcons? They could go get another wide receiver for all we know.
All right, the Giants pick is in.
With the 6th pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, the New York Giants select Brian Burns, edge defender from Florida State. Our roster has a number of holes, and we believe at this stage and with the available prospects, we would be best served by filling those holes before drafting our next franchise QB. After trading Olivier Vernon, we felt that edge rusher was one of our biggest needs, and we are extremely happy to have Burns fill that role. Burns is arguably the highest ceiling pass rusher in this draft, with elite bend and burst to turn the corner and get to the QB. He's an outstanding athlete who will consistently win with speed rushes, and he can play both upright and down in a three-point stance. While his main weakness in college was play strength, he bulked up to nearly 250 pounds for the NFL Combine. In an NFL strength and conditioning program, we believe we can get Burns' play strength up to par. With this pick, we solidify one of the most important positions in the game with one of the highest upside prospects in the draft.
The Atlanta Falcons are now on the clock.
Like this pick by the Giants, Brian Burns. As the Giants already proved with their 2 Super Bowl wins, you can never have enough pass rushers. Burns is an explosive edge rusher who is surprisingly strong. He regularly wins to the outside with his speed, but showed the ability to run stunts inside as well. The Giants trade away Olivier Vernon and look to find his replacement right here. While folks might think this is a little too early for Burns, he certainly would not have been there at 17 for the Giants pick, where the Giants pick next. The blue and white got their guy.
Man, probably one of the nastiest spin moves I have seen in years in the draft. I love Burns. Again, maybe a little high, but there was no way he was going to land at 17. Great pick by the Giants. I love it.
Yeah, they needed to get him here if they wanted him. Oh, we've got a trade alert. The Redskins and Lions. So the Redskins 2020 third-round pick. Let's see what the Redskins do here. But the pick is in.
With the 7th overall pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Ed Oliver, defensive tackle, Houston. Trading with the Jacksonville Jaguars to obtain the 7th overall pick allows us in Atlanta to obtain a player at a good rate, which we believe will pair nicely with Grady Jarrett, De'Adrian Sanat, Vic Beasley, Tack McKinley, and new signee Tyler Davison. At Houston, Oliver was a monster, racking up 53 tackles for loss in his 3 years, while also racking up all-conference honors. His leadership skills were admirable at Houston, which allows him to come into our brotherhood and provide more leadership skills that we already currently possess. Because of his leadership and his twitchness and his ability to explode inside, it'll allow Grady Jarrett and Beasley and the others to have more opportunities to get after the quarterback while also being able to provide a run-stuffing defensive line and give our secondary and linebacker core more opportunities to prevent defenses from racking up the yards, racking up the points, and going after our defense.
The Washington Redskins are now on the clock.
Ed Oliver Ed Oliver is what most would consider to be a tweener. He's too light to be a 3-down D tackle, is not long enough to be a true D end, and is too big to be an every down linebacker. But with the right defensive coordinator, he should be considered a defensive weapon who can line up across the entire front seven. At 270 pounds, Houston used him as a nose tackle, completely underutilizing his athleticism and pursuit ability. For his size, he's one of the most athletic prospects to come out of the draft in quite some time, and is even drawing Aaron Donald-like comparisons.
I don't really like what they gave up here, Jack, but, if this is their guy, then you go get your guy.
I was about to say that. A little too much to give up for my liking, but he could have a huge impact in the next level. The Redskins pick is in.
With the 8th pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, the Washington Redskins select Kyler Murray, quarterback, University of Oklahoma. When this mock draft started, the Redskins were not expecting Kyler Murray to fall past pick number 1. So when he was available all the way down at pick number 8, they decided to make a phone call to the Detroit Lions. The Lions accepted the trade offer of this year's first-round pick, this year's third-round pick, as well as next year's third-round pick. In return, the Washington Redskins were able to obtain their franchise quarterback and the best quarterback in this year's draft class. Kyler Murray is the most dynamic playmaker on offense in this draft class as well. He can do a little bit of everything. When this pre-draft process started, I didn't think I was personally going to like him just because I thought he ran around too much, but that's not the case. He does run around to make plays, but he always resets his feet and he's very accurate with his throws. He doesn't necessarily fit the Washington Redskins' needs at this time in terms of the offensive philosophy that Jay Gruden has. However, given time, I think he can adapt to any playbook and any style of offense. I am also not sold on the fact that Jay Gruden will be there long term, but of course he probably will be there for his entire rookie season. So I do believe Kyler Murray is the best quarterback in this draft class. I also believe that the Redskins would be foolish not to make a move on him if he was available at pick 8. He is kind of one of those guys that he's an acquired taste. He's shorter than normal. He is smaller. However, Kyler Murray would sell tickets. He would give the fan base somebody to be super pumped up about. And I think the Redskins owner, Daniel Snyder, would definitely make the move if he was available at pick number 8.
The Buffalo Bills are now on the clock.
Redskins, they've taken Kyler Murray here, and with Alex Smith's future looking very uncertain, and the Redskins were desperate to find a long-term answer at quarterback, and they presumably found one in Murray here. Murray has every ingredient you look for in a franchise-caliber quarterback. Arm talent is off the charts, can make any throw necessary, as well as the rare ability to throw off a platform and on the move without having his accuracy wane. His height and size are definitely of concern, which is probably why he fell a little bit here, but his ceiling is undeniable, and he could change this franchise for many years to come.
I rarely agree with a team moving up and giving up draft capital like this, but the Redskins had to. I love the pick. I think it's a great fit. Him and Jay Gruden are going to be a match made in heaven.
Yeah, you can't have that question mark at the quarterback position. The pick is in.
With the 9th pick overall in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, the Buffalo Bills select offensive tackle Jawaan Taylor. This guy is an absolute beast with great explosive feet, great footwork, and amazing hands. He can seal the edge better than anybody in this draft. And coming out of the SEC in Florida, he's already played the best edge rushers in this draft and is guaranteed to be an absolute stud at the NFL level. Do not be surprised if this is the best offensive lineman to come out of this draft. With a little bit of weight and some great coaching, Jawaan Taylor is an absolute steal and a great pick at 9 for the Buffalo Bills.
The Denver Broncos are now on the clock.
Jawaan Taylor to the Bills. I called it quite a long time ago. After being sacked 28 times in 12 games, the Bills were in desperate need to protect their first-round pick and franchise quarterback in Josh Allen. The addition of Florida right tackle Jawaan Taylor accomplishes just that. A blend of length, size, athleticism, and attitude. Taylor is an outstanding prospect with great technique and early Pro Bowl potential written all over him. I love this pick, and it was a necessity and arguably one of the best players on the board.
Yep, love the prospect, love the fit. Great hit pick here by the Bills.
Broncos pick is in.
With the 10th pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, the Denver Broncos select quarterback Dwayne Haskins from The Ohio State University. Dwayne Haskins is one of the top quarterback prospects in this class, and we are very excited to take the 10th pick overall. Joe Flacco is our quarterback right now, but we believe Dwayne is the future of this organization and has the ability to be a great quarterback in this league. In his single season as the quarterback for the Buckeyes, he threw for 4,831 yards, 50 touchdowns while completing 70% of his passes and only throwing 8 interceptions in the process. His arm strength is prevalent when you see the ball fly out of his hands. He is very accurate in the short to intermediate range with the ability to use his big arm to throw bullets into tight windows. He shows the ability to diagnose defensive coverages pre-snap, especially against zone defenses. As he develops his footwork and mechanics, we believe that he will be the right one to lead our organization for years to come.
The Cincinnati Bengals are now on the clock.
And the Broncos take Dwayne Haskins here. Haskins could be considered the best pure dropback passer in this year's draft. His arm strength, accuracy, and ability to quickly make reads stands out from the second you start watching him. He will need to work on his delivery and mechanics a bit if he's to take the next step at the NFL level, but if the Broncos, who have been desperate for a quarterback since Manning, can surround him with talent, he should be able to take this next step easily. And he offers that quarterback after Joe Flacco leaves the Broncos. I like this pick a lot, Jack.
I was gonna say him and Flacco. He'll be able to learn from Flacco. Great pick. Finally, they go get their guy. I'm not sure if Haskins is going to be the answer overall. It's going to be a coin flip. If he's a boomer bust prospect for sure, but he can make every throw. Bengals pick is in, but first, a word from our sponsors.
The world does not come to those that wait. Because success is not a rite of passage. It is a reward given only to those with the strength and toughness to persevere, to push through the failures that pave the way to prosperity. It is the willingness to sacrifice what no one else will. It is the reason you fight when it feels you have nothing left to give. Because success is no accident. It is a byproduct of hard work. It does not come with excuses. It does not need luck. And it will never come easy. It is within reach, but only if you are willing to take it. So take what's yours. And let us guide your path. SMWW. Step 1 on your journey to success. Learn more at sportsmanagementworldwide.com. Welcome back to the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft.
Now let's take a look and see who the Bengals select.
Hi, this is Michael Williams with Blitzalytics, and with the 11th pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics NFL mock draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Devin Bush, linebacker, Michigan. Devin is one of the most explosive, most talented linebackers in the draft, right behind LSU linebacker Devin White, who would have been our pick here if he wouldn't have been picked number 4 by the Raiders. But Devin Bush is a great fallback plan. He fits the mold that we're looking for, linebacker that can cover sideline to sideline, can play zone, can tackle, can blitz with the intensity of Ray Lewis, if you want to make a comparison when he blitzes on blitz plays. In college, Devin led his team in tackles the last 2 years. He was also a runner-up, a finalist in the Buckets Award for the best linebacker in the nation as a sophomore. Then as a junior and a senior, he was voted team captain and also was voted Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. At the combine, Devin ran a 4.4. He put up 21 bench reps, and he worked out well on the field. So he checked every box every scout's looking for in today's linebacker. One, like I said, that can cover, that can blitz, that can play zone, that can cover running backs and tight ends. That's what today's NFL is shifting towards, more of a passing league. but with Devin's athleticism and his leadership, he can help bring this defense to the next level. We already lost Vontaze Burfict this offseason, so Devin will be a great fill-in spot for him to play linebacker and start right away day one. And we think he can be a contributor player for the next 10 years on our team.
The Green Bay Packers are now on the clock.
The Bengals and Devin Bush are a match made in heaven. There's no better way to replace the Bengals' longtime linebacker and tone setter of the defense in Vontaze Burfict than Devin Bush, an ultra-athletic linebacker who brings the thunder and flashes like lightning across the screen. Bush is considered the best coverage linebacker in the draft and will make an instant impact as a rookie. Excellent pick by Michael Williams in the Cincinnati Bengals. He's going to have it, like I said, an instant impact. I cannot wait to see him in orange and black. The pick is in.
With the 12th pick in the 2019 NFL Blitzalytics mock draft, the Green Bay Packers select tight end T.J. Hawkinson, Iowa.
T.J. Hawkinson was the 2018 John Mackey Award winner, an award given to the most outstanding tight end in college football. He pulled in 49 catches for 760 yards and 6 touchdowns in his final season. Hawkinson was a threat in line, at the wing, and in the slot. He will be a mismatch for linebackers at the next level with his great athletic ability, quick feet, body control, and crisp route running. He has elite size at 6'5" and 251 pounds, which will allow him to box out smaller corners before the catch and use his strength to overpower them after. Hawkinson has great hands and tracks the ball very well, making spectacular catches away from his body both high and low. Not only will he be a reliable pass-catching tight end for Aaron Rodgers, he will also help in the run game. Hawkinson is a high-effort blocker that isn't afraid to get physical with defenders. We are ecstatic to be adding a player such as T.J. Hawkinson.
The Miami Dolphins are now on the clock.
Hawkinson to the Packers. I love this pick. Aaron Rodgers has been yearning for a tight end that he could rely on for his entire career, a safety valve he could look into in times of need, and the Packers have answered his prayers. Hawkinson is a 21-year-old redshirt sophomore that is coming off a sensational season that was highlighted by him being awarded the Mackey Trophy for being the top tight end in college football. He's a tall, long, and burly tight end who can produce high-quality plays both as a pass catcher as well as a blocker. He is a smooth and coordinated athlete that has great bursts off the line of scrimmage and a terrific snap anticipation that puts him ahead of the ball game when running his routes. Great pick here. Great for Aaron Rodgers. Great for the franchise.
Yeah, it has been quite some time since they've had a franchise tight end. It's been all the way dating back to the days of their Super Bowl appearance with Jermichael Finley. Great pick. Great addition to the Green Bay. Rodgers finally has a security blanket once again.
The pick is in.
With the 13th pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, the Miami Dolphins select Jonah Williams, guard, Alabama. We were not anticipating Jonah to be available for us at pick 13. When he was, it was a no-brainer. He will come in and give our O-line a tremendous boost in both the run and pass game. He brings a certain toughness and attitude that we feel is necessary to play along the offensive front. He has the potential to start at all 5 positions and play all 5 at a Pro Bowl level. We currently have very good starters at both tackle positions, so we expect Jonah to come in and solidify the interior of our offensive line. While at Alabama, he was able to maintain a starting role in all 44 games of his career. As a freshman, he earned all freshman honors and was selected to the SEC all-freshman team. As a junior, he allowed 0 sacks the entire season and earned himself the Jacob Blocking Award, which is awarded to the best blocker in the conference. He's a first-team All-American and was selected to the first-team All-SEC 2 years in a row. As a career starter at Alabama, he is easily one of the most polished prospects in this year's draft. He proved time and time again that he can shut down the opposition either with power or technique. We are excited to get him in the building and get to work. Go Fins.
The Jacksonville Jaguars are now on the clock.
With the top two quarterbacks off the board, the Dolphins decided to grab the draft's best player available and at the same time a position in need in Alabama's stud left tackle in Jonah Williams. Some teams have expressed concerns about his arm length and believe he's best suited to be moved inside, but Blitzalytics consensus big board rankings have him as the best O-lineman prospect in all of 2019 and the number 7 prospect overall. Great pick, great addition. The Miami Dolphins desperately need help on the offensive line, and the Jaguars pick is officially in.
With the 14th pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select DK Metcalf, wide receiver, Ole Miss. After a great trade for both us and the Falcons, we got the best player we wanted all along. After getting a safety in the trade, we got someone for our new star quarterback to throw to. Having a lot of needs, one staring the team right in the face was wide receiver, and with DK available at 14, we couldn't pass it up. Known for his strength and size, he has a hidden ability of great footwork. A common issue that people have is his hands, but our system's a great one to learn from, and our coaches will have him making great catches in no time. That's not to say he isn't field ready, however. Standing at 6'3" and weighing in at 230 pounds, he's ready for the physicality of the professional gridiron. Once he grabs the ball, defenders can't take him down, averaging 18.3 yards per catch in college. Too quick for linebackers and too big for corners, he's killer in the open field. He has room for improvement, and he'll excel learning from the Super Bowl MVP, and his fundamentals are incredible. A talent that we're ecstatic dropped down to 14, allowing us to select the future of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Detroit Lions are now on the clock.
DK Metcalf. After landing Nick Foles at quarterback, the Jaguars now need to fix their offense around him. Through 7 games this season, Metcalf accrued 569 yards on 26 receptions and 5 touchdowns. That equates to an eye-popping 21.6 yards per reception. And when he's healthy, he is a big play machine who secured all SEC honors for securing 7 touchdowns and 16.6 yards per reception in 2017. And let's not forget about his blazing 4.340. But the big if is his health. He has been injured continuously throughout his career, but if this is a risk worth taking, though, at 14. The Jaguars traded back and still got their guy. If a healthy Metcalf has the potential to go down as one of the best Jags receivers ever from a pure talent standpoint.
Yeah, the Jaguars were able to still get their guy and collect quite a bit of collateral from Atlanta. Love the pick. Not a biggest fan of the player. I think he is a pure athlete that is yet to really translate onto the football field.
The pick is in.
With the 15th pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics draft, we, the Detroit Lions, select Rashawn Gary, defensive lineman, Michigan. We believe we could trade back, receive more picks, and still get the player we wanted. Gary comes off the board at a much better value at 15. Even though his 9.5 sacks in 3 years don't jump off the page, the upside is obviously there. The man's a freak athlete, he's a do-it-all guy. Needing someone to complement Trey Flowers, our big-time free agency signing, Gary is versatile enough to move around the line in different formations. With his 6'4", 277-pound frame, he still ran a 4.58 40 and put up a 38-inch vertical leap. He can play inside or outside depending on the down and distance. We got our guy. Welcome to Detroit, Rashawn.
The Carolina Panthers are now on the clock.
This pick is purely based on upside. Rashawn Gary may be the biggest freak athlete D lineman since Jadeveon Clowney, but it hasn't necessarily translated to on-field production, and I believe this is too high for my taste. Personally, Gary is actually the second best defensive line prospect to come out of Michigan this year, behind Chase Winovich, who is being widely under-talked about. That said, Gary's raw athleticism is something to marvel over, and any confident coach will love to get their hands on a moldable ball of clay such as him. The potential is simply too much for Jacob Patterson and the Detroit Lions to pass up. We'll see if it pays off in the long run. The Panthers pick is officially in.
With the 16th selection in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, we, the Panthers, selected defensive tackle Christian Wilkins from Clemson for several reasons. One, value. He was rated about 4 slots higher on our board, one of the highest players still available at the time that the selection was made. 2, 2, character, off the charts character, a Campbell Award trophy winner. For those who are not familiar with the award, that's essentially the academic Heisman. The player who best combines academic excellence and athletic excellence in college football. He's won that award. Off the charts character, a leader, also sort of a bit of a quote-unquote class clown, despite the fact that he has a very high GPA, graduated early from college. He is a complete player, a complete human being. A young man who's risen from a fairly difficult childhood to succeed. He gives of himself in the community. He's been a student teacher. He's bulletproof, in essence, as a prospect. Check all the boxes is the term we use in the scouting community. He's a check all the boxes kind of prospect. In that he has production, athletic ability, he has leadership, good student, like I said, characters off the charts. He's the kind of player that even if he becomes slightly less than you think he's going to be as a football player, he helps your team by being such a great person, a person who's great in the locker room. But I think he will be a great player. I think that he will be able to play every position at times from 0 out to 5 technique. He can play the 4-eye. He can play the 3. He has enough quickness and enough moves to give you upfield pressure. He's a guy with 40.5 career tackles for loss and 16 career sacks, 5.5 sacks towards the end of his career, even once teams knew about him. And once again, he's playing very often against double teams. I feel great about the selection, and I think the Carolina Panthers have gotten a very, very good player for a very long time.
The New York Giants are now on the clock.
Panthers select Christian Wilkins. Wilkins would be a player that helps the Panthers defensive line immediately. He's a player that can move quickly once the ball is snapped and immediately fills gaps. Wilkins is particularly effective in the run game, and he can use all of his 6'4", 320-pound frame to disrupt the running game. As we've seen over the years, he can also get to the quarterback. His versatility and the different ways that he's effective and useful to a defense will definitely translate well to the NFL. He's a great value pick here, and he fills that sort of Dontari Poe role that, Dontari Poe wasn't actually able to fill himself. Love this pick here.
Love the player, hate the pick as a Bucs fan, but Christian Wilkins is arguably one of my favorite D-tackle prospects in this year's draft. Super athletic. I mean, hell, he played safety at one point. I mean, look at the film. It's just impressive. That's all I have to say.
The pick is in.
With the 17th pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, the New York Giants select Andre Dillard, offensive tackle from Washington State. We made it a point last draft and this offseason to improve the offensive line, and Dillard is the final missing piece of the unit. At his size of 6'5" and 315 pounds, Dillard has outstanding footwork and is very technically sound, displaying great mirror ability and the ability to have a quick set. His long arms and quick release make it difficult for pass rushers to get around him or bull rush him if he can engage. There is plenty of room for Dillard to grow, as he needs to become a better run blocker and just become a bit more aggressive and nastier in general. We believe that can be coached out of him, and we highly value his pass blocking ability. With this pick, our offensive line is solidified for this season, and Dillard will be able to transition to becoming our left tackle in the future.
The Minnesota Vikings are now on the clock.
The Giants continue to improve their offensive line with the selection of Andre Dillard. Coming from Washington State, Andre Dillard has been asked to pass block more than any other tackle in all of college football. His pass set, footwork, and ankle ability may be the best in the draft, but his lack of film as a run blocker cannot be ignored. With Dillard being a true left tackle and blindside blocker, it'll be interesting to see who the New York Giants decide to move over to the right side between himself and last year's signee and Nate Soldier. Either way, the Giants have built a solid offensive line over the first 2 years, which both Saquon and Eli should deeply benefit from in 2019.
Got to build from the inside out.
Amen to that. And the Vikings pick is in. I wonder if they do the same thing.
With the 18th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Cody Ford from Oklahoma. After long deliberation and long thought and talking myself out of drafting Noah Fant about 20 times, I did the smart thing. Vikings have to protect Kirk Cousins, and that's what we did here. Cody Ford's versatility also is attractive to the Vikings. They can put him inside or put him at tackle if they want to shift their guys around a little bit. There's been a lot of talk of Riley Reif moving inside to guard. So O'Neal could possibly move to left tackle, put Cody Ford at right tackle, or Cody Ford could slide inside. Vikings need a mean bruiser offensive lineman, and I think Cody Ford brings that to the team. So Kirk Cousins is your biggest investment, and you've got to protect that investment. And I believe the Vikings got a heck of a player here that will help them shore up that front line.
The Tennessee Titans are now on the clock.
It's no secret that the Vikings need help anywhere they can get it along the offensive line, so Cody Ford will be a welcomed addition. Ford is one of the most impressive linemen in this class in terms of mental processing and football IQ. While his footwork is not quite as polished as some of the players that are considered ranked ahead of him, he's a violent finisher and was a brute force on the Oklahoma offensive line last season. This guy's an enforcer on the offensive line and was the straw that stirred the drink for those guys in the trenches. May not be a sexy pick, but it's a solid one for a team that absolutely needs to beef up their big uglies. The pick is in.
With the 19th pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, the Tennessee Titans select Clelin Ferrell, defensive end of Clemson University. Let me start off by saying we were very excited to see that he had fallen to us, as we truly thought that he could potentially be a top 12 pick. In our division, the AFC South, we play a lot of good quarterback competition with Andrew Luck with the Colts and Deshaun Watson with the Texans, and even now with the Jacksonville Jaguars as they just acquired Nick Foles. With that being said, we're going to need to put pressure on those guys, and Clelin Ferrell will be able to do just that for us. We really liked what he did at Clemson, as this past year he was named ACC Defensive Player of the Year, won the Ted Hendricks Award for Best Defensive End, and finished his career 4th on the all-time sacks list at Clemson with 27 career sacks. I believe he will be a great young piece along with Harold Landry, and they'll be a force on the edges to put pressure on those quarterbacks in our division. We look forward to seeing him make a huge impact immediately in our defense.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are now on the clock.
Titans go defensive line again and selecting Clelin Ferrell. Tennessee's adding the best defensive end in the draft, not named Bosa or Allen, in my personal opinion. Ferrell was a part of the most dominant defensive front in all of college football last year. He's got all the physical attributes that you need in the NFL to be a stellar defensive end, as well as the film and stat lines to back it up. The Titans have continued to build their defensive line over the past 2 years in the draft and are looking to basically stop the run and get after the quarterback with the athletes that they've put on there. Ferrell is a steal at pick 19 and should find early success along Jarrell Casey and opposite of Harold Landry. Love the pick, love the player. And we have a trade alert. The Jags are active again. Great move by the Jags. They're being very active in the draft. And the Steelers pick is officially in.
With the 20th pick in the Blitzalytics mock draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Hakeem Butler, wide receiver, Iowa State. Butler is an absolute cheat code for any defensive back that tries to cover him mano-a-mano. What makes him such a rare specimen is his combination of out-of-this-world measurables, as he stands 6'5" and just under 230 pounds, with 35.25-inch arms and huge hands that measure just under 11 inches wide. He put on a freaky performance at the Combine with a 40-yard dash time of 4.48 seconds and a vertical jump of 36 inches. He is not only a straight-line athlete, though, and he has surprising fluidity and lateral agility for a man of his size. He is hard to bring down after the catch due to his physical advantages and a mean disposition, where he will simply toss smaller body defensive backs off of him at will. He had to overcome the death of his mother at a young age, and shows a lot of mettle, and he is a great man off the field. Adding Butler into the wide receiver room that we already have in Pittsburgh, with free agent addition Dante Moncrief, and with the continual development of James Washington, our last year's second-round pick, it will allow us to utilize Juju Smith-Schuster from the slot, even after the loss of Antonio Brown. And we'll also add these playmakers to Big Ben as he is on the last 9 of his career. And we are looking to maintain our dominance on the offensive side of the ball.
The Jacksonville Jaguars are now on the clock.
This one is certainly a head-scratcher. Yes, the Steelers lost AB, but they've had a huge success developing late-round wide receivers, which makes this pick feel a little bit like a luxury pick for a team that doesn't really deserve a luxury pick. Butler gives the Steelers a tall, athletic, deep threat to help spread the ball around the field while Juju does his damage. I don't hate Butler as a prospect. I think he'll be successful in the NFL, but I just hate that the Steelers took him here.
Yeah, Rory Countryman and the Steelers must know something that we don't, because I firmly would have believed that he would have been there in the second round. Maybe they could have moved up to go get him, but to me, he was a second-round prospect, and there's a few wide receivers that Blitzalytics has above the board on him. Speaking of Blitzalytics, we have a commercial to show you. If you are interested in checking out scouting reports for all of these players throughout the mock draft, please check out Blitzalytics.com.
Get a block of the edge, he's going to get there, first down and more, and Deshaun Watson inside the 10, into the end zone for a touchdown, 49 yards.
Welcome back to the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft.
The Jacksonville Jaguars pick is officially in.
The 21st pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Byron Murphy, cornerback, Washington. Simply the best player available, we couldn't pass up such a natural talent like Murphy. His coverage skills are unmatched by other options. He makes up for lack of physicality with fundamentals, and there's no reason he won't get stronger and faster in a system. Where he lacks straight speed, he has double the movement ability, matching routes extremely well. While it wasn't our biggest need, we felt after getting a safety and a wide receiver with one trade, this trade could open up others and give us the top remaining player on our board. Through one round, we improved in 3 different positions, and ending up with Murphy was the best result we could have had. Other positions will be available down the line. A player like this won't. With 20 passes defended and just 87 targets, we believe he can be starting talent and better. His abilities come natural to him. His football IQ is incredible, and he knows what to do on the field. A 21st overall pick we can believe can be a Pro Bowler, is something that every team needs, and we are lucky to have gained him, especially on this pick.
The Baltimore Ravens are now on the clock.
Byron Murphy of the Jags is something that nobody's seen coming. A position of need? No, definitely not. Best player available? Likely yes. And this probably means that management does not feel that they plan to pay Jalen Ramsey next season, but Byron Murphy instantly makes the Jaguars secondary the best in the league if they weren't already. Some teams draft to minimize weakness, and some teams draft to build strength. This was obviously the latter of the two. Murphy is unquestionably the most well-rounded corner in the draft, but his 4.5 40 time certainly hurt his stock, allowing the Jaguars to capitalize at pick 21. The Ravens pick is officially in.
With the 22nd pick in 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Paris Campbell, wide receiver, Ohio State. We in the Baltimore Ravens organization believe we have completed our foundation on offense. We shored up the running back position in free agency. We have our franchise quarterback in Lamar Jackson, and now we have his number one target. Paris Campbell checks all the boxes. He has elite speed, elite acceleration, and when he has the ball in his hands, he has a chance to score every time. He can catch the deep ball. He's a twitchy runner out of the backfield, and he's one of the most dangerous playmakers in space. We believe by drafting Paris Campbell, we have one of the most dynamic offenses in football. Baltimore, let's welcome Paris Campbell to the Ravens family.
The Houston Texans are now on the clock.
No wide receiver at the NFL Combine ran faster than Paris Campbell's 4.31 40-yard dash, and the Ravens are looking for more explosiveness in their offense. However, to make an immediate impact with the Ravens or anyone else, Campbell will need more than his arsenal than just deep routes. Not everyone is convinced Campbell can run all the routes necessary at the next level, but there are believers out there, including me, that believe if used properly as a weapon all over the field, Campbell can succeed and be effective in this offense.
Agreed.
The pick is in.
With the 23rd pick in the Blitzalytics mock draft, the Houston Texans selected Dalton Risner, offensive tackle, Kansas State. After not having a pick early in last year's draft, we felt as though we had to spend the early pick boosting the offensive line. We feel like Dalton has the versatility to start at either right tackle or right guard from us early on and make an immediate impact on day one. He'll be an immediate upgrade over Chantrell Henderson and Zach Fulton. Hopefully, along with free agent signing Matt Khalil, the line will be invigorated with an infusion of talent. We felt like we had to shore up the offensive line in the first round this year to protect the franchise, Deshaun Watson. Risner is a tough, road-grading mauler, and we hope moving forward that he'll be able to come in and mesh with our zone running scheme to open up holes for Lamar Miller and Deonta Foreman. With the way the draft board fell, we felt as though we had to get a player that could make an immediate impact and make that immediate impact on the offensive line.
The Oakland Raiders are now on the clock.
Great pick. One of my favorite players in the draft. The Houston Texans have been desperate to fix their horrendous offensive line after giving the most sacks in the league in 2018. Risner hasn't allowed a sack in almost 2 years of play, and though it's rarely pretty, Risner does a tremendous job of finding success by any means necessary. He's a mauler, a pile mover, and a great, solid right tackle prospect who brings an attitude to the Texans' offensive line. Houston just landed a plug-and-play right tackle with Pro Bowl potential and will likely be a team captain for years to come. Again, one of my favorite prospects in the entire draft.
As he should be, Jack. You know, the Texans needed to protect Deshaun Watson, and this is a step in the right direction. I love this pick.
Couldn't agree more. The Raiders' pick is in.
With the 24th pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics NFL mock draft, the Oakland Raiders select Greedy Williams, cornerback out of LSU. Second defensive pick in this first round for the Raiders. The second guy out of LSU. The first guy was linebacker Devin White with the number 4 overall pick. These two moves are going to help this defense hopefully get out of that cellar they were in last year as the last ranked defense in points allowed. They were last in net yards per pass attempt. They were last in passing touchdowns allowed. Greedy Williams immediately makes this defense better. He's long. He has all the things you want to hear in a scouting report. He's long. He's rangy. He's athletic. He has the capability. He's able to be patient in coverage because he has the athletic capability where he doesn't have to worry about someone beating him so badly that his athleticism can't make up for it. He gets hands on people quickly because he has long arms and because of him being 6'2", 185 pounds. Really, overall, the Raiders are now in a position where they made quite a few moves this offseason in free agency, trades, obviously, for Antonio Brown, and now the draft. John Gruden's got a 10-year contract, and it seems like the Raiders have put themselves in a position where moving into Las Vegas, which is going to make them a much more enticing spot for free agents with no state income tax compared to the 13% in California. This team with Gruden, with his 10-year contract, Mike Mayock, they seem to be doing things the right way. They seem to be in this for the long haul, but also this is a quick rebuild. Look for the Raiders to start to be competitive this year, and these are the kind of moves that are going to get them there. And they got more picks to come.
The Philadelphia Eagles are now on the clock.
Williams has everything we would want in a top cornerback prospect. He's long, athletic, and he has ball skills. Greedy needs to become more consistent, but he has all the talent to be one of the top defensive backs in the NFL. Combination of him and Garyon Conley would give offensive coordinators nightmares in that division. This is a steal at 24, and the entire Raiders organization should be patting themselves on the back for this one right now.
The Raiders got not one, but two day one starters and huge impact players so far in the first round. Very excited to see what they do with their next pick.
The pick is in.
25th pick in the 2019 Blitz mock draft. The city of brotherly love, the only place in America to get the best cheesesteaks, and home to the 2017 Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. We select Jeffrey Simmons, defensive tackle, Mississippi State. Hailing from the same alma mater as my man Fletcher Cox, the Eagles get some tremendous value with Simmons, even though they recently signed a Pro Bowl defensive tackle in Malik Jackson. Simmons brings some much-needed depth and enters into a situation where he will be getting valuable playing time.
The Indianapolis Colts are now on the clock.
Finally, a team pulls the trigger on what many scouts deem to be the second best prospect in the entire draft. Jeffrey Simmons would have likely gone in the top 5 if not for tearing his ACL. Good news is there is 0 signs of nerve damage, and even if he's placed on the PUP list, Simmons will likely be back on the field for the second half of the season. With an already star-studded defensive line and well-rounded roster, the Eagles had the luxury of taking this pick and waiting on their first rounder to see the field. Unlike others who are looking for an instant return on their investment in order to keep their jobs, this Mississippi State prospect is a This Mississippi State product is a do-all prospect who can play across the entire offensive line and is a monster, versatile, who can play the run and the pass very well. Sorry for skipping over that. We just got word that there is a trade alert. The Steelers and
With the 26th pick of the Blitzalytics mock draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Nasir Adderley, safety out of Delaware. We believe Nasir has the capabilities to come in and be an immediate contributor to our defense. He has the versatile skill set where he can not only play as a deep range safety, but he can also line up in the slot. He can play man-to-man. He has experience playing in corner. He actually came in as a starter at the cornerback position as a freshman at Delaware. And also he can play inside the box, very fluid, using his agility to flow through. He's not afraid to bang against some linemen and shed the blocks to make the tackle. What we love about him is also his ball hawk ability. He has a knack for stretching out for the ball, either getting a deflection or the interception. He is special when it comes to that category. And most importantly, we needed some depth at our safety position. That was a position that was banged up from last year. So he offers us not only a depth piece, but if somebody were to go down, we feel comfortable lining him up wherever we needed him. But most importantly, in the time being, he will be a weapon for our defensive coordinator, and he will be able to be used all over the field as a rookie and will be a long-time contributor for your Indianapolis Colts.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are now on the clock.
Nasir Adderley. He's a rangy safety who can play man and zone coverage. He has great instincts, good ball skills, and can even play along the line of scrimmage or in deep zone. He will need to adjust to the jumping competition from Delaware to the NFL, but he has all the tools to handle that. If he can play up to his potential, the Colts have paired him with Malik Hooker, to make up one of the most formidable safety duos for years to come. I love this pick, Jack.
Couldn't agree more. I think Adderley adds a level of speed that they were missing with Malik Hooker. That he is the lightning to Malik's thunder. Love the pick. And we're going to take a quick commercial break before we get back and wrap up the first round of the Blitzalytics mock draft.
Sex, drugs, and murder. Welcome to the locker room of the 2008 Florida Gators.
Hey, let's go! Get in here! Get in here right now! Get in here! Hey, we got 30 minutes for the rest of our lives! 30 minutes for the rest of our lives! That's our bet on the first half. It ain't happening. We get the ball. I promise you one thing. We're going to hit somebody and we're taking down the field for a touchdown. I guarantee you that. Guaranteed. Look at me. Let's go. We got 30 minutes. Let's go. For the rest of our lives.
Welcome back to the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft.
While away on commercial break, the Steelers made the pick Darnell Savage.
With the 27th pick in the Blitzalytics mock draft, acquired from a trade from the Oakland Raiders, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Darnell Savage, defensive back, Maryland. Savage is a versatile defensive back who flashes to the ball in an instant in a ton of his tape. His instincts and closing quickness allow him to make a ton of difference-making plays at the catch point. He had 7 interceptions the past 2 seasons while at Maryland, and 2 of them he returned back to the house for pick sixes. He has a ton of quick twitch fibers, and he tested off the charts while in Indianapolis at the Combine, with a 4.36 40-yard dash and a 39.5-inch vertical jump. He has been a late riser in this draft class, and due to his versatility, being able to play as a single high safety, which is a rarity coming from the college area, and also being able to drop down and cover slot receivers due to his fluidity and his transitional skills. This pick gives us an infusion of playmaking ability that our defense has been lacking for the last year and a half since Ryan Shazier went down with his devastating injury. I know we've drafted defensive backs a lot the last few years and haven't hit on a lot, but this type of difference maker, we'll be able to utilize them in a number of different ways, and it'll be a great addition to our defense as we try to catch up with our offensive powerhouse.
The Los Angeles Chargers are now on the clock.
After trading all the way up from 52, the Steelers draft a first-round safety in back-to-back years. Darnell Savage is another super rangy DB who can cover a lot of space in very little time. His 4.3 40 at the Combine likely vaulted him to the first round, but Pittsburgh surely has reasons why and film to back it up as to why they fell in love with him. Savage is a quick twitch athlete with equally fast reflexes and reaction time that allows him to cover a lot of space in an instant. He may be slightly undersized, but he plays as the biggest man on the field every play. The Steelers may have either stole the draft or lost it with their first 2 boom or bust prospects. The Chargers pick is officially in.
With the 28th pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Jerry Tillery, defensive tackle, Notre Dame.
The Chargers would love to grab an offensive tackle here, but due to the run on tackles earlier in the round, they decided to turn their attention to the other side of the trenches. The selection of Tillery here adds some much needed beef and physicality to their interior defensive line, especially after losing Darius Philon in free agency. Measuring in at the combine at 6'6.5", 295 pounds, not to mention his 34.5-inch arms, Tillery also proved he has elite athleticism for his size by posting the top 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle times among defensive tackles, while also ranking in the top 4 in the 40, the vertical jump, and the broad jump at his position. These numbers were especially impressive considering he worked out with a torn labrum still lingering in his right shoulder from this past year. This was an injury that he played with for 8 games in 2018, a season that saw him rack up 30 tackles, 10.5 of those for loss, 8 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles, earning him second-team All-American honors. When it comes to his tape, the biggest hang-up among scouts seems to come down to one word, and that's consistency. In terms of both effort and technique, consistency has been a big concern during much of his time in South Bend. However, Tillery was much improved on this front throughout his senior season, displaying much more relentless play throughout the entirety of the game. Tillery simply possesses a rare combination of size and athleticism that NFL teams covet. For Gus Bradley and the Chargers defense, while he certainly can hold his own against the run, what really sets him apart in this year's deep D-line class is his pass rushing potential. The Chargers immediately get a rotational power pass rusher to line up in between Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram, filling a huge hole in their front seven. He then has all the traits to further develop into a high-ceiling 3-down contributor, making him well worth LA's first-round pick this year.
Nope.
The Kansas City Chiefs are now on the clock.
The defensive tackle position for the LA Chargers currently is thin as there are only 3 players left on their active roster. Tillery owns all the tools needed to be an impactful defensive lineman at the next level. The off-field question should not be concerning for anyone who has physically and mentally made strides like his each year, and his film shows a player that would be a difference maker from day one. In order to win their division, the Chargers need to get after the quarterback, and Tillery certainly helps. Him and Legit paired side by side are going to be a formidable duo. I cannot wait to see this. And the pick is in.
With the 29th pick of the Blitzalytics NFL Draft, Chiefs select Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, safety, cornerback, overall defensive weapon out of the University of Florida. The Chiefs are looking to become a much more aggressive and opportunistic defense this year, and CGJ is the type of chess piece that Steve Spagnuolo likes to experiment with. Gardner-Johnson has experience playing throughout the secondary during his time at Florida. He initially started as a corner and then moved on to safety in his later years, but he also played plenty of nickel this last season. He has shown the ability to blitz effectively and pressure the quarterback as evidenced by his 4 sacks in 2018, and can also contribute in the running game as shown by his 9 tackles for losses in 2018 as well. His play in big games can't be ignored either. He seems to shine most whenever the brightest lights are on, and that trait can't be overlooked whenever we're talking about a team that will likely be among the league leaders in primetime football time slots this upcoming season. Teaming him up with Tyrann Mathieu is going to give opposing offenses fits with their versatilities and knack for making plays all over the field. I look forward to seeing how both with him and the Honey Badger move across the defense, and how they can be used to create as much turnovers as possible so that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs' historic offense can prosper.
The Green Bay Packers are now on the clock.
I'm not sure if I love the pick by the Chiefs. After the departure of safety Eric Berry, the position had to be addressed, but KC was desperate to fix their secondary after a subpar 2018 that resulted in the 31st ranked passing defense. Chauncey's a big, lengthy, physical prospect who added dynamic to the secondary KC's desperately been lacking. Ashton Moore and the Chiefs filled a huge void in the back end of their defense, and hopefully this will fix what they've been missing for quite some time.
Yeah, this team, I feel like they just made a pick based off of need versus actual skill here, but we'll see.
Yeah, it is, but it is a huge hole. It's such a big hole that it had to be filled. I understand them reaching for Chauncey, but it's just not the safest. I don't think it's the best pick that could have been made. The Packers pick is now officially in.
With the 30th pick in the 2019 NFL Blitzalytics mock draft, the Green Bay Packers select wide receiver A.J. Brown, Ole Miss. In free agency, there was a focus on defense, and here with our first 2 picks in the draft, we grab offensive playmakers in both T.J. Hawkinson and A.J. Brown. Brown's production speaks for itself at Ole Miss. He broke Ole Miss's single-season record for receiving yards, receptions, and touchdowns with 1,320 yards receiving, 85 receptions, and 11 touchdowns in 2018. A.J. Brown has great NFL size at 6 foot and 226 pounds. He used his size to overpower some of the smaller slot corners as well as get positioned against them. Brown gets open consistently and was a chain mover. He has great start and stop abilities and uses it in his route running to manipulate the feet and hips of opposing corners. While Brown is more quick and elusive than fast, he still put up a 4.49 in the 40, showing he has plenty of lateral speed. Overall, A.J. Brown is a pure athlete, so much so he was drafted in the 2016 MLB draft by the San Diego Padres coming out of high school. His baseball skills come through with his great hand-eye coordination and ball tracking abilities. We're glad he stuck to football, and now he is a Green Bay Packer. Welcome to Green Bay.
The Los Angeles Rams are now on the clock.
Ole Miss receiver A.J. Brown checks all the boxes for what the Green Bay Packers typically look at for the position. He is big, athletic, versatile, and reliable at the catch point and good after the catch. If the Packers are looking for a bigger slot receiver to replace Randall Cobb, Brown is a perfect match. He's 6 feet and a rock-solid 226 and ran a ton of routes at Ole Miss inside in the slot. In fact, he was asked to run many of the same routes as Cobb once ran in Green Bay, such as quick outs, verticals, from the slot and screens, and in-breaking routes over the middle. The Packers continue to surround A-Rod with talent, and I love it. And that being said, we have a trade alert. The Broncos and the Patriots. While the Patriots get pick number 41, number 73, and pick number 156.
The Patriots trading back into the second round? No way.
With the 31st overall pick in the 2019 NFL Blitzalytics mock draft, we, the Los Angeles Rams, select Ja'Kai Polite, outside linebacker, Florida. We select Ja'Kai for a few reasons. We've had a hard time grabbing edge presence in the past drafts. We drafted Samson Ebukam in the 4th round. We've brought in Clay Matthews. We traded for Dante Fowler. So we felt as though long-term, if Samson doesn't work out, Ja'Kai is too much of a talent to pass up on here. Ja'Kai is very fluid. He is very well balanced as an edge rusher as well as an edge defender. He provides a bunch of traits off the edge. He's very explosive for one, he's very flexible, and he's got a different variation of pass rushing maneuvers. We hope by adding Ja'Kai to our defense, whether it be as a starter, a situational pass rusher, or a sub-package player, that over time he turns into a superstar we believe he can be. For that reason, Ja'Kai is our pick at 31. We consider trading down, but at the end of the day, the fact is Ja'Kai is too valued, over here to pass up on it. Such a talent. We met with him at the Combine. We had him in for a private visit, and we decided that Ja'Kai Polite makes too much sense to become a Los Angeles Ram. We will work with him, and we will continue to develop him into a future star that we believe he can be. So the Rams select Ja'Kai Polite, 1st round. It's the 1st round pick in the Sean McVay era.
The Denver Broncos are now on the clock.
Ja'Kai Polite has made it back into the 1st round after several reports came out during and after the NFL Combine that he failed his interview process miserably with several teams. I said, and would suffer because of it. But apparently the on-field play was more than enough for the Rams to take a swing on him. McVay does wonders with personalities and attitudes. Nothing will change here. They desperately needed a D end and some pressure off the edge with Aaron Donald in the middle. Not going to say I love the pick, but a good, solid pick, a position in need. And we'll see what the Rams can do this year. The Broncos pick is officially in.
With the 31st pick in the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft, the Denver Broncos select Noah Fant, tight end out of Iowa University. It was a major priority for us to get a top tight end in this draft. That is why we justified trading up to get a weapon such as Noah. He's an elite athlete at the tight end position with great size at 6'4", 249 pounds. He displayed his athletic ability at the combine where he tested off the charts. He showed off his speed and explosiveness, scoring the best out of all the tight ends in the 40-yard dash, vertical, and broad jump. He clocked in at 4.5 for the 40 and jumped 39.5 inches in the vertical, as well as jumping 127 inches in the broad jump. This translates to his film where he shows off his explosiveness when running routes and ability to be dangerous in the open field once he gets the ball in his hands. His great speed and route running ability makes it hard for linebackers to guard him, and his size makes it tough for DBs to jam him at the line and make a play on the ball when it's thrown to him. He will be a great weapon for Joe Flacco, who loves a big, talented tight end, and in the future for Dwayne Haskins when he is ready to take over the reins in Denver.
A constant mismatch for opposing teams because he's too fast for linebackers and simply too big for safeties. Noah Fant lands himself in a Broncos uniform. The Broncos have a big need at the tight end position. They currently have Jeff Herman and 2018 draft pick Troy Fumagalli, I know I pronounced that wrong, on the roster. Neither are really starting caliber talent, nor have had the receiving ability and potential that Fant has. Flacco loves his tight ends and will gladly welcome such a talented tight end on his team. And with that pick, the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft has now ended.
I'd like to give a shout out and big thank you to not only everybody that participated, but all of our sponsors. From The Scouting Report, TSR, find him at Scouting LLC, Jacob Patterson, Avtech Construction, and of course, Sports Management Worldwide, where you can start and or further your career in the football industry. And a big, ginormous shout out to Mr. Robert Robertson, a.k.a. Rob here at Blitzalytics, who put this video together. Great job. Couldn't thank you enough, sir, and can't thank all 32 participants for joining us in the 2019, second annual 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft.
And that's going to do it for the 2019 Blitzalytics mock draft. We'll see you next year.
Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like, here comes the, y'all don't